welcome to the Puck Buddy Podcast.
Booga booga booga.
We are your Puck Buddies. As always, we have Cameron Che here, Eddie Murad, and myself, Bo Hendrickson. And we will be your hosts for today.
Just today.
So, as you know, we are the Puck Buddy Podcast, and we are here to provide some expert fantasy analysis of the fantasy hockey, sport. I guess it is a sport nowadays, right, guys?
Yeah, sorry.
Pretty much the same thing as regular NHL hockey.
You're out of shape, really out of shape, when you get winded playing fantasy hockey. So
It's tough.
I probably should get back to the gym.
Yeah, working up a sweat for sure. But
you're looking a little moist there.
yeah. So while we're sweating it up over here, let's just dive right into some fantasy hockey, guys. Let's talk about some news that's happening within the last month of October. So, as you know, since we are 1 month into the fantasy hockey season, we got our first NHL Stars of the Month. So, who's our first star over here?
Well, no one saw this one coming, right, guys?
No way. Who's this guy?
He's pretty much pacing the NHL with his 5 goals, 7 assists, 12 points in 9 games, and he's the McDavid, Mr. McDavid. He's helping the Oilers get to the top of the Pacific and the Western Conference, and he has a 1 point in his last 6 of 9 appearances, including 4 multi-point games, 3 consecutive 3-point games, and he's averaging 1.11 points per game, which is 5th in the league behind Crosby, Malkin, Ovechkin, and Yager, which is pretty good company. So
yeah,
that is impressive.
The stud that we all expected.
So I'm loving it.
Ronald McDonald's prodigal son, Connor McDonald. So
He's running the farm.
all right, number 2, second star would be Shea Weber. Part of that controversial trade for PK in the offseason.
Who saw him starting better than PK?
I know, no one.
I definitely
Obviously himself.
He has really proved
Show them.
I gotta be honest, I don't even think he knew. But he really proved himself. He has 4 goals and 6 assists. That's 10 points in 9 games. The Canadians are off to a league-leading 8-0-1 start. He's got 3 game-winning goals. He's plus 12. He's got 3 multi-point games. He's playing real well. So you should drop him and let me pick him up.
Yes, please.
Share the love.
Share the love.
So this one, I'm pretty sure actually no one knew was coming. Not expected at all.
No.
But our third star of the month of October is Jonathan Marchessault.
How mad do you think Jonathan Huberdeau is right now?
He's pretty upset, but I think he's chilling on his couch right now, thinking I could maybe take the rest of the season off.
Yeah, he's the Jonathan Huberdeau boy.
Yeah.
Just sitting on the couch,
Sweating, playing fantasy hockey.
But yeah, so Jonathan Marchessault, he's the one of the top rookies right now. He's tied with the leading 6 goals right now. And he also is tied 3rd in points with a bunch of names with 11 points. And he's done this all in 9 games. No one expected this to happen, except if you were listening to a couple of our earlier episodes, and you might have
let you know about this guy a while back.
Yeah, we've been talking him up, and there's a reason why. So now you know, 3rd star.
Yep.
Don't forget it. So now that we've kind of gone through the first couple of stars, we also, have a rookie for the month of October that's been doing pretty well.
My rookie of the month, William Nylander.
The Toyota Nylander.
From the Leafs. He is dirty. He comes with 4-wheel drive, all-wheel drive. You don't even need chains on that bad boy, bring it up to the mountains. He is amazing.
Carrying.
4 goals, 7 assists, that's 11 points, with 7 of them on the power play.
Woo.
He has 31 shots, 4 multi-point games. He's playing... Technically, he's the shadow of Austin Matthews, but he's outproducing him. He has 1 more point, 3 more power play points. I'm just really impressed with William Nylander, and I hope he keeps it up.
Yeah, he's looking great. He's, soon enough, Austin Matthews might be in his shadow.
I know, right?
He's right now. He's out. Scoring.
Austin Matthew?
Yeah. First round pick. What?
Well, yeah. So we got a couple more news, some goalie news for you guys. So this is pretty big for you Pittsburgh folks, but Matt Murray is making his return. You're the Stanley Cup All-Star over here.
The bane of the Sharks.
Yeah, but expect him to be playing this Wednesday in Anaheim versus the Ducks. So if you do have him, take him off your IR. He's ready to play. He's ready to get you a W and some good saves and everything. So fire up Matt Murray.
Start him right away.
I think he's going to get a win against Anaheim.
I would do it. If they're going to play him, there's a reason why.
Yeah, and sorry, just moving on real quick.
Speaking of other great goalies.
Yeah, this one's a little less, very less humorous. So we're gonna talk about Craig Anderson real quick. So I don't know if you guys have been following along with the NHL news, but Craig Anderson's wife was diagnosed with cancer recently, and so he took a leave of absence, and no one gave him any flack for that, but. His wife kind of begged him and pleaded for him to come back to help his team once their backup was injured. So he came back, and he's played 2 games so far. He is 2-0. He's turned aside 59 shots, and he had a 37-save shutout against Edmonton that earned him first star of the week.
That's impressive, especially against Edmonton.
Yeah,
props to him.
I mean, it was a really emotional win.
Crazy.
And they even gave him a standing ovation in Edmonton after the game.
Deserved it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we've got a couple questions, or a couple of people asked the same question. Is Craig Anderson someone you want to keep or trade? Personally, I think this is someone you want to keep with everything going on. He's been able to, fight through all of those emotions that are going on in his head throughout the game and come up with 2 huge wins. So I think that he's only going to go up, continue playing this way. I don't think you should trade him.
I think you should sell high on him for sure. He's not normally one to post these kinds of numbers, and since he has, it's great for him, and he really earned it. But he should be sold, and he should be sold high. Especially a lot of other goalies who have been pooping the bed recently. You could probably get a good value for him. That's what I would do personally. And what do you think, Bo?
Main thing with him, it depends on how high you can sell him.
Yeah.
If everyone's just looking at those 2 shutouts and that's it, then you can sell him for a good price.
Yeah.
But like we're seeing right now, we're pretty early in the season. The Senators are kind of up and down in terms of their record, and so with Craig Anderson, if you can get someone to buy high and you get you that good starting goalie that you can have the rest of the season, I'd totally do that, because you never know with when Hammond returns from injury or what to expect with the goalies there. But for now, if you have him, ride him.
Yeah. It's messed up, but I was watching the game, and I heard that someone had cancer, and it was just an emotional win. But I totally thought they meant Craig Anderson had cancer. I was like, that's why he's bald. I totally get it. And then they're like, no, his wife did. I think the announcer might have mistaken that, because I was just watching the game, and they were like, oh, sorry, it's his wife that has cancer. Holy crap, that's awful. But
Craig Anderson, recent 3-limb amputee, has made a
great diagnosis, announcer.
Yeah.
No.
Anyway, moving on to injuries. Speaking of amputees.
Speaking of Craig Anderson.
So we'll just kind of try to burn through these real quick. So the only goalie of
Jonathan Bernier.
Oh, yep. First guy up, Jonathan Bernier. The only goalie that's really on injury notice right now. He has an upper body injury, but luckily he has been practicing recently, so they're not sure if he's going to be ready in time to play by Wednesday if they need him, but you expect him in the next week or so, I would say. So Gibson won't be playing every single game.
Yeah.
But another injury, well, this isn't actually an injury, but a suspension. David Pastrnak suspended 2 games for an illegal check to the head of Rangers defenseman Jen Girardi.
It was nasty.
So it was pretty nasty. But Pastrnak had no history, and there was no injury to Girardi, so he kind of got off the hook a little easy with only a 2-game suspension. Should be back. There's 1 game left on that suspension, so expect him back soon.
We watched the hit, and it was more like Girardi was trying to get the puck in the air, right? And he opened up, and then Pastrnak just
yeah,
and just kind of clocked him and didn't leave his feet or anything, but it looked bad.
And it was funny because he went up to go grab the puck, and as soon as the puck got to his hand, he saw Pastrnak coming, and he completely did not grab the puck.
His eyes got so wide.
He just forgot about the puck. That it was
and that was the end of him. Pastrnak, expect him back. 1 game left in his suspension. Another one of his teammates, though, David Backus, he underwent surgery recently.
He's not gonna be Backus.
He went Backus under the knife, and
and they removed some type of burr sac in one of his elbows.
Bursa sac.
A Bursa sac,
Bursa sac, because I don't know what that is.
It's not too serious. He shouldn't be out for more than a couple games.
The bursa sac is like the fluid that keeps the joints from like rubbing against each other. It's like the fluid barrier. So
Okay.
if they replace it, it's okay. It can never be replaced fully, but you'll still be able to play and be fine. It's not like a torn ACL. That's probably worse.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the Bruins expect him back. Hopefully, after these next 2 games, they'll get him back.
Mm-hmm.
But some other names to notice: Thomas Vanek has been diagnosed out week to week with a groin hip flexor injury.
There's a serious Vanek at the disco. Panic at the
Everyone's
disco.
panicking right now.
Especially because I picked him up and I can't play him.
It's tough for all those players because he was so hot earlier and then just took that injury and he's out now. He's just pooping your fantasy team.
Panic at the disco, Vanek with the hip though.
Oh man,
Such a problem.
And so our final injury here. This is actually a huge one. Zach Parise out week to week with the foot injury. It looked like he blocked a shot against the Bruins defenseman Brandon Carlo, and it looks like it's hurting him pretty bad.
He's always injured, I feel like. I mean, he's such a good player, but he's always injured.
Yeah, so that's kind of huge for those of you who picked him pretty early, but expect him out for a couple of weeks. Maybe throw him on your IR if you can, because you're not going to be dropping Zach Parise.
I mean, yeah, he's just a no-go on the shot from Carlo, so I just,
I say no.
I just no.
Before I go.
Yeah.
All right, well, there are our the news and injuries for this week. So let's talk into a usual section that we've been going over, and that's our Beautes and our Benders.
Oh, what a beaut, eh?
So we're going to talk through a couple of Beauts of Week 3, some players that have really performed, some names that you need to know and be aware of for the rest of this fantasy hockey season. Mm-hmm. We're going to start it off with a couple of forwards. So let's go with our number one player of Week 3, and that is Brayden Schenn. Who saw that coming?
Not I, but now that he's on the top line and with Bruce Wayne Simmons and Mr. Claude Giroux, it's hard not to do well with those two, They all just kind of stack the sheets with stats. He's the number one player of the week, like you said. He's got 2 goals, 4 assists, and 4 power play points. He will get you penalty minutes. He'll get you shots and hits, which is great. And it's just like Wayne Simmons, That line is just a grinding line, and I mean they've got the offensive touch as well, so it's really cool to see them meshing so well together. And it's like
really nice.
You really can't sit any of them at this point, like Brayden Schenn, Giroux, and Simmons. You got to play every week now, so it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Now another surprise pick. I don't think any of us have even heard this guy before. It's Sidney Crowsfeet. Sidney Crowsfeet. He's
I think they misspelled Cosby.
Yeah, that's what it's. Bill Cosby.
That's what a hot Cosby is.
Anyway, so Bill Cosby out here has 4 goals, 1 assist, 3 power play points, and 13 shots, all in 3 games.
3 games.
Yeah. So
and 9 lawsuits.
That's that. Yeah. But seriously, Sidney Crosby has been playing amazing since he came back from his concussion injury.
We all expect that.
Well, I think the one thing that I didn't expect was him to get on a roll so fast after concussion symptoms with, his past, he's had so many concussions. So I think that he has really, overperformed, what we projected him to do in the first couple games back. But, I believe he will continue this pace, maybe a little bit under, but continue his at least point per game pace as usual.
Yeah, I agree. And you look at Shea Weber, that's the star of the week we already mentioned.
Star of the month.
Star of the month, thank you. He's even star of the month, and with 2 goals, 1 assist, 2 power play points. He gets shots and hits. He's had multi-point games. So he's been doing it all. So I mean, you can just, if he's on your team, you should be real happy.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great defenseman one to have. Expect that. And another defenseman that has been producing like crazy is Ryan Suter. He's the number 3 player of Week 3, and for a defenseman, that's pretty huge. Mm-hmm. He has right now he's riding 2 goals, 3 assists, and a +7.
That's impressive.
With points in 7 out of his last 9 games.
With the Wild.
Well, the Wild doesn't do it.
Say that
How
again,
wild!
Yeah.
I mean, you could probably contribute that to our next beauty on the list, Devin Dubnyk.
Ooh, yeah.
And Bo's really stoked about him.
Doo.
Yep. He's the number 1 goalie of the week, and he's had 3 shutouts in a row, which is absolutely insane, ridiculous. 94 saves in 3 games versus Boston, Buffalo, and Dallas.
Those are no pushovers either. Those.
No, not at all. So the Doobie's been doing well. He's just keeping it lit right now. So good for him. I don't expect that to keep going though. So
I don't either, but ride it while it's hot, right?
Yeah, ride while it's hot. Or
Yeah,
if
bro.
you, like I said, if you can get good value for someone who just sees the shutouts, goodbye Dubnik. Hello Carey Price, maybe, you know, something ridiculous.
Man, I'd like to see that.
In my dreams, right?
Yes.
But anyways, the second goalie that we want to talk about, we've already mentioned him before, Craig Anderson. Much respect to that man, doing exactly what he's doing. He played 2 games, 2 shutouts. Enough there. Enough said and done.
Yep.
So that wraps up the Beautes. Let's look like a couple of Benders.
All right. So, number 1, our first bender so far is going to be Leon Draisaitl. He's got a total of, let me do the math real quick. Carry the 1, 2, 0 points, and he's -3 in the last 6 games. He had a really hot start with 6 points in the first 4 games, and then completely fell off the cliff. Forgot his parachute. We are just watching him drop.
Free fall.
Yeah.
He's free.
McDavid gave a little push.
Well, they put him on a line with McDavid to try to spark his offensive ability or like offensive production, but he didn't get any points with him either. So it's like, what are you gonna do with him? I mean, they're gonna hope for the best, I think. So,
well,
really
for
stinks.
right now, yeah, it's a little disappointing.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't know. I mean, he wasn't drafted in our league, I don't think. So it's kind of like you don't really expect it. But this guy, Jamie
The
Benn,
next one, yeah.
you drafted him very high, and he has no points, -5 in 4 games. So that's really sad. I mean, he has 2 goals and 2 assists and -6 on the whole season, but they're really looking for him to produce more, especially because Sagan's been kind of feeling the hits too. I mean, he's been producing a little more. You got a couple more goals than him, but they really need both of those players to start going.
Yeah.
The Dallas Stars are going to even see the playoffs or even hope to get there.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean,
I guess
if Niemi can't see the puck and they don't see the playoffs, I don't know. I feel sorry for Dallas fans. So just
and
Jamie Benn,
letting him all in. So.
Yeah, Jamie Benn. I would like you to start scoring. Thank you.
Yes,
That'd be nice.
That'd be great.
I would really like Sean Monahan to start scoring too, especially because I have him and he's been struggling as well. He has 1 goal in the past 4 games, 0 assists, which is really weird, especially on a line with Gaudreau, and he's -5 on the season. So he's been pooping everywhere.
Of course, this is someone that we were worried about at the beginning of
we've been
our
talking about him.
podcast. So this is not a huge surprise to us personally, but
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are surprised that he is not producing a little bit more with Gaudreau.
Yeah, I'm still surprised. I'm still not, pulling the eject lever yet. So I'm still keeping it cool. But I'm just I just want more production out of him, But I'm sure it'll come. I'm not really worried.
Yeah.
So
Give it a little time. Once the Flames start winning, then hopefully things will look up for those 2 stars. So another name, this one I'm actually really upset about because I drafted him in both my leagues, but Evgeny Kuznetsov.
Evgeny cannot find Zenetsov.
No. Maybe they don't have nets where he's from, so you just really can't find him. But and even you would think that Ovechkin would help him find him. So they're on the same line, but
I'm gonna pause real quick. Ovechkin just said that his favorite team growing up was the San Jose Sharks, and Owen Nolan was his favorite player. Continue.
the more you know.
The more you know, the more you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's really bumming me out right now. I honestly don't know if I should expect more from him or where I should sit with him.
Do you think last season was a fluke?
Nope. I
don't either. So
I personally think you'll be fine. You just gotta wait. Unfortunately, same with Monahan, same with Ben. I think you'll be fine with him. He's like an otherworldly talent when he's on, and he's gonna keep playing with Ovechkin, Backstrom, Oshie. He's gonna keep playing with the top tier players, so he'll produce. So
okay,
I wouldn't worry.
Quick question then: Kuznetsov or Monahan rest of the season?
Ooh, I want to say Kuznetsov just because he's on a better team. Monahan just has Gaudreau to pass to, and
I'm gonna agree because Kuznetsov has multiple options.
Yeah.
And people to set him up.
But the Calgary Flames rely on Monahan and Gaudreau more, so they need them to produce more. Still would rather have Kuznetsov, more opportunities for goals and assists. So
And on the better team.
on the better team, of course.
Okay, just have to throw that out there.
Yeah.
So 2 names I'm going to go through real quick, both centers. Alexander Barkov and Ryan Johansson.
My
What
buddy.
is going on with these guys? They haven't been putting up any points these past couple of games, and both of them, started off pretty hot the first couple of games, so not looking good.
Well, it's really concerning with Barkov because he's on a line with Marchessault and Jágr, who have both been getting points. Just he's an excluded. He's been in the corner, and they've been playing jump rope and hopscotch without him, and just
This might be part of the game plan, They'll try once, Marchessault and Jágr both have the puck.
Yeah.
They'll be like, okay, now we got to score. But once Barkov gets it, they just go for a line change.
Yeah, they're just like, we don't want to play with these reindeer games. With
Alexander Barkov is stronger than his bite.
So I really want to keep on Barkov and hope that he'll be okay, if he stays on that top line. But at this point, I'm worried about him a little bit. I mean, I might be sitting him until he starts going. If I owned him, if you have someone better to play, I would play him over him at this point. And Johansson's another one because he's my buddy. I'm really sad about him. He did have food poisoning in that one game, but I'm pretty sure he's had it in 5 games because he's had no points in 5 games. It kind of sucks because his first game he had 3 assists, and I was so stoked on him. It's like, yeah, my buddy looking good, and then he has 1 assist in 7 games.
Well, from your buddy to your friend.
To my friend.
Well, if Johansson had food poisoning, I think Pecorine has had both food and emotional poisoning. Because
and explosive diarrhea.
Yeah, as the last bender on our
He's
list,
been crap in the net. 0
wins in the last 5 games. I'm not going to go too deep into his save percentage, but let me tell you, it's not very good. So that is someone that I actually don't have very much faith in him because even last season he didn't do very well.
But there's one thing we should mention about this. I know Eddie went through this last year.
Don't do this.
But Pecorine did the exact same thing last year. He was awful at the beginning of the season. And of course, as soon as Eddie trades him, towards the end of the season, he goes off. He carries the Predators all the way to the playoffs to make it back in, and to make it 7 games against the Sharks in the second round, the furthest they've ever been.
And through the first round with the Ducks.
Yeah,
he was the reason they got through the first round.
And I lost my first round in the playoffs because I didn't have, and I was playing him, and then Bo redeemed me and beat the guy who had him.
Oh, nice!
And he won our league, so it was okay.
Yes, so
I'll take that.
So just notice that you don't sell low on him right now because he has a great chance to rebound at the end of the season.
Yeah, just watch his matchups, I would say.
He has a great chance to rebound, but he has really bad rebounds right now.
Yeah,
exactly.
He's better at basketball than he is at hockey, though, so he'll switch later in the year.
Eventually, yeah. Once the season ends,
Yeah.
Okay, so now that we kind of went through all our Beautes and our Benders, let's talk about some waiver names right now. Look at a couple of players that now that we're into the new week, we kind of got a better idea of these players sitting on the waiver wire that are worth a pickup that we really think can help your team. So the first guy I wanna get into is Victor Rask. So I slightly mentioned his name in the last waiver column, but he needs to be known at this point. He has a point in each one of his 8 games. So he's the only person in the NHL that has a point in all of his games. That's like ridiculous. 10 points, 4 goals, 6 assists in 8 games for the Carolina Hurricanes. Like that's not many people could do that. Even like if you're a superstar to produce like that on the Carolina Hurricanes. So he's playing hot right now, and he's surprisingly only 30% owned. That still amazes me. But you need to hop on this guy before everyone else starts, seeing what he's worth. Because someone who can get a point every single game should be in any fantasy lineup.
Yeah.
So, with that also being said, I just kind of want to throw this in on the side because I've always mentioned him before. But Jonathan Marchessault, look for him if he's still there. Because as we mentioned before, number 6 player in fantasy hockey right now. And,
third star of the month.
Third star of the month with some elite names like Weber and Connor McDavid. So, double check if he's still out there on your waiver wire because he is worth the ad no matter what.
Now, to keep in mind, though, with Marchessault is that when Huberdeau's back, I believe that Huberdeau will go back on that first line. So that's one thing to keep in mind. But Huberdeau's still out for a while. So if he's available, pick him up right away.
Yeah, that's why you can't wait. You just play him while it's on until Huberdeau gets back.
All right, so our next guy that I'll just jump onto is Brock Nelson of the Islanders. Now, really quick, you guys have heard me say this time and time again, I love players that can play multiple positions in fantasy. Brock Nelson is a center and a left wing, and in the past 8 games, he has 9 points, 3 goals, 6 assists. He's +4. His shots are okay. He has 16, and that's being on the second line and the second power play unit. So he's only owned 20%. If he's available and you need someone to be getting some points, he is producing at a very high rate. So look for Brock Nelson on the waiver wire. Someone else that's next on our list, Sam Bennett. He's owned only 21%, so just 1% more than Brock Nelson. He is producing in a different way, but in a very similar way for fantasy hockey. So he has 6 points, 3 goals, 3 assists, which is pretty good. However, he also brings 20 penalty minutes and 25 hits to the table.
That's a beautiful thing.
And that's, just 1 month into the season. He is the second line center, but he's also on the first power play unit. So Sam Bennett is going to have a few more looks than Brock Nelson. My only issue with Sam Bennett and Brock Nelson, the comparison would be that Sam Bennett only plays center. So that's one thing to think about. The third one for me right here is one of my guys on my second favorite worst team ever, Columbus, would be the captain, Nick Foligno. Once again, Foligno can play both left wing and right wing. I love the flexibility there. He's owned in 28% of leagues, and he has 8 points in 7 games, 1 goal, 7 assists. So if you need assists, this is a guy to go to from these 3 that I've just mentioned. He has 4 power play points, and he is on the first line with Saad and Wimberg in the first power play unit. So I don't foresee his production level going down. I do foresee him getting a few more goals here and there, but as far as getting some assists and time on the power play and power play points, this is a good guy to look for on the waiver wire.
Yeah, I totally agree. But moving on to my guy, Nasty Nazem, Mr. Kadri, 21% owned. He's actually a sneaky pick. He's on the third line, but on the first power play unit for the Leafs, and they've been producing offensively, so it's been looking pretty good. He has 3 goals, 3 assists, 15 penalty minutes, and he gets shots and hits. He'll get the whole shebang for you. Right now, he's a third-line center with Connor Brown and Lee Komarov. So a little bit, not the stars of the team, but he brings a lot of depth and his veteran presence to that young team. And like I said, he'll stack your shots and hits, and he's definitely a worthy pickup in my eyes if you're going to need the help in the center position. Another guy I've been looking at.
One more thing.
Oh yeah.
If you have the chance, you must see Nazem Kadri's goal against the Edmonton Oilers. That won to an overtime goal.
Oh my goodness.
He literally grabbed McDavid and he's like, "Get off me, little boy." Took it to the net and scored it.
And McDavid was like, "But ref, he grabbed my arm." I'm pretty sure that was the exact inflection of his voice when he said that.
Totally. That's
You're
why
probably cracked as well, even higher.
That's why he's Nasty Nazem, dude. All right, my next one is Jimmy Vesey. He is a rookie this year. He played 4 years in Harvard and was named the ECAC Player of the Year and when he played in college. And now he's playing left wing on the top line for the New York Rangers with Rick Nash and Derek Brassard. That is a filthy line. Mm-hmm. The main reason why he's getting overlooked is because we've been blessed this year with so many awesome rookies. We have Austin Matthews, William Nylander, Patrick Laine. But this guy, he has actually been quietly getting his points. He's been benefiting greatly from being on that top line. He has 4 goals and 1 assist in his past 5 games. He's had solid performances in all of them. But if you need goals, which is very, it's definitely a stat that, there's not very many people getting the goals. There's a lot of other stats, but he's definitely one to, pick up. He's definitely a benefactor of that top line, so he's one to keep an eye on. And he's only 30% owned, so definitely one to look out for.
So, all right, that wraps up the forward waivers. Let's look at a couple of defensemen. This is usually more of a scarce position. Defensemen are usually more widely owned. Trying to pick up a good point-producing defenseman isn't the easiest thing in fantasy hockey. But I think we got a couple of names here who will be pretty helpful in terms of getting you either some power play points or maybe some hits and some penalty minutes. So Eddie, you want to hop straight into yours?
I'll start it off right here, and I got the nasty, stinky Gudas cheese. Ooh. Radko Gudas, 18% owned. He missed the first 6 games of the season, so that's why he's kind of not on the stat sheet yet. But right when he got back, he had 3 points in his first 4 games. but that's more of a bonus for him. He's not known for getting the points. He's known for sitting in the box and getting you penalty minutes. Last season, he had 116 minutes, and he usually delivers a lot of hits as well. So this guy is just a gritty player. So if you need the hits and you need the penalty minutes, you pick this guy up. Let's see.
Yeah, I think with Gudis, inside the penalty box, there's actually like a reserved parking spot with his name on it.
Yeah.
And, only he's allowed to sit in.
He's got assigned seating in there for sure.
Yeah,
It's definitely his spot. So, but another stat I just want to throw out there is he has 14 hits in 4 games, and that's pretty good too if you need that.
Watch out for him.
Oh yeah, the stinky cheese, Mr. Goodass.
All right. Our second defenseman on this list is the David Schlemko. David Schlemko. He is owned in just 1% of leagues. Not surprising at all. He hasn't gotten a lot of, I would say, media-friendly publicity being on New Jersey for as long as he was, even though he was their leading power play point producer. Right now on the Sharks, he has 3 assists and 21 shots. He is a very effective puck-moving defenseman. I believe that his production is going to start going up, and I believe those shots are going to continue. He's on the second power play unit, which has been very effective of late. So I believe that as a 5th defenseman, this would not be a bad pickup if you need shots and assists and power play points.
Mm-hmm. He's been looking great on the Sharks. One of the best additions of the off seasons for sure.
It actually may help us get over the edge, over the hump, if we get to that same position. Because Polak to Schlemko, it's night and day. What?
It brings incredible depth to that second unit. Like they're even on par with the first unit almost. It's ridiculous.
It's like if so you come over to a friend's house and you're like, hey, you want to play PS4? David Schlemko, and they're like, nah, bro, I want to play Snake on the original Nokia 6. That would be Polak.
you throw it at someone, they still get knocked out the same way.
Yep, that's Polak.
Yep.
Exactly like that. But hey, anyone that can make Brandon Dillon look good is a great defenseman.
So true.
So I'm going to go, straight to the last defenseman. No, sorry, I meant straight to the last defenseman. Mark Streit.
Swerve.
Yeah, he ain't swerving. He's just going straight to the back of the net right here. Mark Streit, 2 goals and 4 assists. And the crazy thing is he has all but one of his points is on the power play. So he is just a power play monster right now. Mark Streit. The Flyers power play in general has been super deadly. So and he's the only defenseman out there with them. So if you need someone who's pretty PP heavy and you're not liking Schlemko as much, which I would not be happy if you said that, Mark Streit, he's your guy. He's a solid defenseman right now for the Flyers, and I think he's going to be like that the rest of the season. So just go straight to Streit.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I think that wraps up the defensemen right now. Let's go into the goalie category. So with our goalies here, you're going to hear a couple of familiar names just because goalies usually you don't see them too much, or the names changing too much on and off the waiver wire unless there's a major injury. Right. And there wasn't really any major injuries this week in terms of Jonathan Quick going out the first week. But I'm going to mention a name that we mentioned last week, and that's Jimmy Howard. So unfortunately, from the last time we mentioned him to you, he hasn't gotten a win, but he's only let up 1 goal in each of the 2 games he's played. And the game that they lost to Boston was 1-0, and he played amazing that game.
He played really well.
It was not his fault for losing that game. His team just couldn't score. And the other game he played in relief of Mrazek, in which they were losing. I think it was 4-1, 4-2, and he came in and only let in 1 goal as well with the team that was struggling.
Yeah, it ended 5-1, so I think it was 4-1.
Yeah, so he is still playing well even when he's put in a bad position and his team is not performing. So with Jimmy Howard, if he's out there, he's definitely worth an ad. He's probably one of the better waiver wire goalies there, and you're not going to find many other like him. So Jimmy Howard, we're going to keep on saying it until you guys pick him up.
Jimmy Howard. Well, my guy is not Jimmy Howard, but you should pick up Jimmy Howard. But mine's Philip Grubauer. And this guy is one dude who's owned in 8% of leagues and has too many P's in his name. But he's playing as Holtby's backup, and he has been posting amazing stats with 1 goal against, and a .953 save percentage in 2 games. This is a very small sample size, so don't get crazy.
Grubauer, what?
But it's impressive, to say the least, and his good play has shown that they can give Holtby a break, which is very important if they're going to make playoffs again. And it also means you can pick him up and maybe spot start him in a lot of games. So if you just keep track of how he's doing, he's one guy that I would definitely look to maybe pick up later if you need him. But when he's on, you know what time it is. It's the Grubauer! That's all I'll say about Grubauer.
All right, so when you guys want to introduce our last section?
What's that? Should I pick up these waiver pickups? Wait. No. It can't be. What's that? Enemies in Sector 3-7. It's a trap!
Door.
That's exactly what it is. It's our trap waivers.
It's a trap!
Yeah, we only have a couple for you guys this week, but these are players who perform pretty well, but we don't think will be consistent. So, let's start off. Bo, you want to get us started here?
Yeah, so this guy, he was pretty impressive this week. He was actually, I think, the number 2 fantasy player this week, and his name is Colton Sevior. For many of you who don't know him, you rightfully shouldn't, because not many know who he is. He is, for those who want to know who he is, he's a center and a right wing. He's playing for the Panthers right now. He's on their second line. He's producing because Barkov can't. But right now he has 7 points on the season. But the crazy thing is, more than half of those points was in one game, and that's where he scored a hat trick and got an assist against Detroit. Ooh. So pretty much all his production is in one game. And in 2000, just to kind of give you an idea of like the numbers that he puts up, in 2015 he only put up 21 points. In 2014 he only put up 26 points. So do not expect him to be putting up as many points the rest of the season. So this guy is obviously a trap.
I'm pretty sure that 4-goal game was the one that Jimmy Howard had to come in for Mrazek.
Yeah,
I'm
probably.
pretty sure that hat trick
I would
was on
do the
Mrazek.
same thing.
Yeah. Sorry, Sevier. We'll see you later. Matt Molson is going to be my guy that I'll be talking about real quick. Some of you may have heard of him. He's on Buffalo. He's been kind of a disappointment since when he got drafted. He so far has 5 points in 8 games, which seems pretty good. All 4 goals, however, are on the power play. And I say however, the power play points are always good. But I say however because I do not believe that he will be able to keep this up by any means. 2 seasons ago, he had 41 points. Last season, 21 points with 4 more games. I just don't foresee him having anything more than potentially a 30-point season. That's all I got. Matt Molson.
Yeah. If he's not playing with Johnny T no more, he ain't playing the game of hockey.
A moldy Molson. Don't need him. My guy is Damon Severson. He's...
Seven Sons?
Severson. He's going to sever his son. But he has 1 goal, 5 assists on the season, 4 points in his last 3 games, so he's looking pretty good. He'll get shots, which is also a good value. But he's really been shining because he's been put on the top D line and he's been put on the top power play unit. So the reason why I think he's a trap, though, is he's only reached the 20-point mark in both of his seasons, and this is only his 3rd season. He's only 22, and he needs to get more experience, I think. I don't think you can expect him to continue that. He is okay in some aspects because of the shot total and his positioning, but I also don't expect him to stay on those top units. So, you can keep an eye on him. If he keeps producing, maybe pick him up and ride him while he's hot, but don't fall for the trap, Don't get your son severed by this man.
Don't step on the trap door. I'm telling you.
It's a trap!
Well, that wraps up the traps right there. And
got bees in the trap. Bees in the trap.
Four in the trap. Okay. But yeah, that wraps up our podcast, guys. Our last section is done. The rest of the podcast is done. Woohoo! So once again, we are your puck buddies, and we are done. So goodbye.
See ya.